Sempervirens Fund is busily working throughout the Santa Cruz Mountains to ensure a bright future for redwoods, nature, and us. And I have with me the Director of Land Conservation for the Sempervirens Fund, Laura McLendon. Laura, it is great to see you. And this climate change information is coming faster and more detailed than ever before. How is that affecting the land that you are choosing to protect in the Santa Cruz Mountains?
Yeah, thank you, Doug. We have data that's better than ever, collected from on the ground, but also, from remote sensing that shows us that we need to protect these special climate refugia, the wet areas, the cooler areas along north-facing slopes and along streams that really have the best chance to be most resilient in the face of climate change. And not only protect those core areas, but connect them, make pathways between them for wildlife and much more slow-moving plants to migrate between.
All right, so the plants and animals can adapt as the climate changes, and the ecosystems can adjust with everybody. And so then you get this land, you protected it, but now you've got to manage it. And how is the management of these lands being affected by climate change?
Well, it's more important than ever to scale up our work. We do a lot of work around lowering fuels, meaning vegetation management, applying prescribed fire on the landscape, and we have to do more. So we are collaborating more than ever across property boundaries, multiple different agencies, to make sure that we're building a more resilient ecosystem that can withstand even more stress from climate change.
More hot, dry conditions, more potential flooding, all the rest of it with erosion and flooding. So we have these extremes we're having to deal with. And all of this is happening in a magnificent ecological world, also a world with human beings as part of the ecosystem, communities. And how are you working to try to help to protect those communities that are a part of the Santa Cruz Mountains and have been so affected so far by climate change, with many more risks ahead?
Yeah. The Santa Cruz Mountains is a special place, not just for wildlife and trees, but for people as well. And so the work that we do out on the land to mitigate against catastrophic fire, or to restore aquifers in terms of wetland restoration to provide safe drinking water for communities, all of these things add up to a green infrastructure that really supports and helps our communities going forward.
So nature cares for us. We need to care for nature. It's a virtuous cycle here. If we take care of one another, the future is better. We'll be more resilient to a changing climate. Is that the idea for the coming decades?
That is the idea, and there is a lot of energy behind this, a lot of funding coming from the state level, from the federal level, but also our individual donors. And we are ready for the challenge and are out there already doing a lot of this work.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for all the terrific work you're doing on our behalf. Really appreciate it. And please, keep up the great work.
My pleasure. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Laura. See you soon.